Alright guys, welcome back to the YZ250F build. As you can see behind me, I got the engine all freshened up. I got the frame looking good. So now the engine's ready to go back in the frame, so let's get at it. Alright, so I got the engine in the frame now. All the powder coating I did is starting to come through now. Looks really good. So now with that done, everything's all loose still. I'm not going to tighten everything in just yet because when you put the bolt through for the swing frame, you're going to need this loose, because if it's tight and it's not lined up perfectly, you're going to have a hard time getting that bolt through. So I'm going to build that swing frame up right now. So I've got this Polysport chain slider on, and it says right here, I don't know if it'll focus in on it or not, but right there, I don't know if you'll be able to read it or not, but it says YZ250F/450F 2011. I don't know if it's for this chain slider is supposed to be for 2011. I ordered it for an 09, but this hole fits good. That one doesn't, and that one fits just fine. So I guess I'll just I'll clean these up a little bit. I've got new hardware on the way, so I can replace that easy enough when it's on the bike. But yeah, that's the only thing I noticed is that hole there is not lining up. So maybe I'll just make another little hole and put a different kind of bolt in it or something like that, like a machine screw or something like that. So that worked there. Found a winner in the little machine screw drawer there, so that'll work definitely. So it's not like perfect or whatever, but it'll definitely hold the chain slider still, and that's all you need really. These here I'll just replace when it's on the bike. I got a new kit coming, so it's gonna have all new hardware. So now I powder coated this other chain slider. So that looks just awesome, I think. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that on the bike right now. So I got the swing arm all ready to go back on the bike now. This powder coated piece looks really awesome, the chain slider frame here. So now all that's left to go on it is just these little clamps here, but I'm going to clean them up and probably just do them in some rocker guard or something like that. But other than that, I can grab the swing arm axle and put this on the bike now. All right, I got the swing arm on there, so everything looks awesome so far. This bike is going to turn out really, really good. All the powder coating I did is looking pretty trick on there, so now I'll find the torque specs, and now you can torque everything in. now that I got the engine and swing arm all torqued in here now, everything's in there nice and tight. I'm gonna move on to the front of the bike here, and I'm gonna start putting the oil cooler on and the lines on. Alright, well, it's a couple days later and I had to clean up the rads a little bit. They came out okay. I had to clean up the hoses. Those came out really good. So now it's time to start putting all the coolant system back on the bike. Alright, so I got the rads and the cooling system back on there. It is a few days later, so I went ahead and put the shock together and powder coated the spring. So I'll show you guys that right now. So I powder coated a couple pieces of the shock here, and I got the shock put back together. I'll put a card up in the corner there for another shock video I did. This is pretty well identical to doing the shock on the CR250. The only difference is I didn't fill it up through here. I actually filled the shock body and the nitrogen body up and then put everything together after that, like upside down. It makes more of a mess on the floor, but it works. It gets all the air out. But this spring turned out really, really awesome. This is the Rally Blue from Eastwood powder coating. And this is just the flat black. So I can't put this on the bike yet because I have 100 pounds of air in it, but I need to get it charged up with nitrogen. So I can't put it on the bike quite yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move on and do the shock linkage. So I got the shock linkage on the bench now. So first thing I'm going to do is just take everything out of it, all the spacers and seals and things like that, and get the bearings out. So I got all the bearings out, all the pieces are nice and clean, looking nice and fresh. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling these bearings in. I'll put a card up in the corner again. I do this a little differently than with the vise. I use some nuts and bolts and threaded rod to pull these bearings in. So like I said, I'll put a card up and you guys can check that video out and how I do this job. guys, so I got all the linkage done here. All the bearings are done. Everything's cleaned up. Now it's just ready to go back on the bike. Alright, so I got the shock linkage on now. It took me a minute to get it on, kind of figure out how it went back on there. But I went ahead and put the shock on there. It's not tightened in yet. This has to come all out again. The spring has to come off and I have to charge it. But I figured this is the safest place for the shock, is actually on the bike while it's waiting to be charged. So other than that, I can move on to small little things that need to be done, like drill out the holes on the chain slider, because I did get a fast metric kit in, so there's a bunch of little pieces in there that can go onto the chain slider. So I'll make sure I post a link where I got this fast metric kit there. It's a pretty good little kit. So far the machine pieces that are on this chain slider look pretty good, making everything look really nice and fresh. So other than that, there's a lot of cleaning and stuff like that that needs to be done on the rest of the parts. So that's probably what I'm gonna do next. But with that, that's gonna be the end of this video, guys. Thanks for watching this first part of the YZ250F Go Back Together. Make sure, if you want to follow this build and it's first time watching, you hit the subscribe button, notifications bell, and all that stuff. I got a whole pile of cleaning to do, and I think I'm going to have to order some more parts and wait for those. So that will definitely be in the next video. So thanks again for watching.